Hello, I'm Karen, and today I wanted to show you my process video for my pocket page notebook. This is a book that I've dedicated just to some quotes. It's one of the pocket page notebooks from the Stamp Spot. And so this one was just somewhere to capture some good quotes that I come across on Pinterest and so on. So please forgive me, I'm not used to doing process videos on here, but I will try my best. So this is the quote, and what I've done, I've typed it out first of all just on my printer. I've got terrible handwriting, so I thought it would be best just to print it out. And because on the other side I have got this seagull, I've tried to match it the colour of the paper so that I've got the seagull on both sides, because I did print it on vellum. So that's why I've chosen that colour background on here, and I've just measured that to cut it to size. It is quite thick, but it was the only thing I had really in that colour. It was obviously it was just a 12 by 12 sheet. So one of the effects I really like, and I do this quite often in my December spreads, is just to get a normal piece of paper and rip it, and try and rip it so that the rough side is on the front rather than underneath. Now, I did realise afterwards, watching this back, that I probably should have left a lot more space in between the words, because it does look a little bit lost on the page. But nevertheless, I'm not going to go back and redo it. I still really like the effect. It's just lessons learned for next time to leave a bit more space, and probably print it out on a bigger font as well. So I like the rough effect, especially if I'm not very good at being accurate and straight, so it's a little bit more forgiving when you've got a rough edge like this. Excuse me. And this quote is by Wilder. This was something that I saw on Pinterest. So that's how my spread's going to look, more or less. So just setting it up really, first of all, and thinking where I'm going to place it. And then I've got my distress ink. This is Shabby Shutters. And I'm just obviously using my tonic matte underneath so that I can just to get that effect. And I just want it on the edges that are rough. I didn't want to colour it in completely. And that's why I'm using this tonic page underneath. Apologies, it's not very easy to see on the brown, but you can see once I do put it onto the card that you can see that green coming through, and it is more prevalent on the sides of the paper that have been ripped quite well. And so I'm not very good at painting and shading, so this is a good way of me practicing this as well. And there's the last one done. I'm not going to do it with a quote. And what I'm just going to do now, obviously, is just to stick it down with some adhesive. So, like I say, I didn't really have a plan in mind other than wanted to use this effect because it would be nice and quick, and the colour scheme really was being dictated to by the quote I'd had on the previous page as well. There we go, stick that one down as well. So if you've not used pocket page notebooks before, I would definitely recommend. They're a good way of not taking up too much storage like the 12 by 12 layouts do. Doesn't need as much effort, and then you can obviously use them as traveller's notebook inserts as well. So that's why I kind of keep mine separate. I've got a few on the go for different things. So when I put that on there, I then obviously realised the quote on the other side is showing through, which I should have realised, but I didn't. So I went away and cut another sheet. Now the only thing is I probably wouldn't have picked this colour in otherwise. I just did it to match the seagull. So I need something now just to bling it up a bit. So I think about, do I do gold or silver? And I think silver's probably going to pop a bit more than gold on that background. And I'm also looking at the green sequins just because I'd use the green paint as well. So now I've decided to speed this up a little bit. And again, you can see I'm not very good with the sequins. It's a little bit fiddler for me. I did recently get this Marvel jewel pick out, which I do absolutely love, but it does take a little bit of practice. So I end up going back to my original tool, mainly because I can put glue on one end and then twist it the other way just to lock it down. And I'm just using the Ranger Mixed Media glue for that. And there we go. So I ended up not using any of the green sequins actually, because I didn't quite like the look of it once it was done. The next thing that I've done is just to pick up some die cuts, because I haven't got a clue what to do on the other side now, because I did expect to just use the seagull as the other side of the page. But I'm thinking I need some flowers, I need a pop of colour. This is just a die kit from the Reject store here in Australia. They're really great value. I don't have many die cut kits with flowers in, but I felt that's what I needed, because obviously I didn't need any of the words. I like the look of all of the leaves, so I end up going with, using it as a bit of a vine, and it has got a silverish holographic twist to it as well. So I'm just gluing them on now, just in a random order, just to get it creeping up the page. And then I'm trying to figure out where to put this big flower. I ended up cutting it off the page because it would have been too big on its own. Wonder if I can use the offcuts, realise I can't, but I'll keep them for later. They might do somewhere else. So I decide then to spin it around and think I'm probably better to swap the sides around. And this is the finished product. I've just got to date it, stick it in, and that's the end product. So I hope you enjoyed watching that. I hope you give it a go, and if you've got any comments, please leave them below. But otherwise, thank you very much for taking the time out to watch this. I really do appreciate all the views I get. Thank you.